There were some massive KFC SuperCoach scores in round 8. I hope you were on the end of some of those. There were some stinkers as well, so let's look at who was hot and who was cold. The hottest player in KFC SuperCoach right now, probably the hottest player in the AFL, is Marcus Bontempelli. His last 5 weeks have been absolutely unbelievable. KFC SuperCoach scores of 122, 145, 182, 122 again, and 164 on Saturday night against the Giants. I thought they might tag him. That was clearly a mistake, so I didn't put the captaincy on him. I wish I did. Anyone who did, double that score. Absolutely brilliant. Career high 26 contested possessions. Career high 14 clearances. Tom Green did play on him for a bit and he actually played okay, but you couldn't stop the Bont. His price is now well over $700,000, and according to SuperCoach Plus, he's still going up. If you haven't got him, I don't know how you could afford him, but if you've got him, enjoy the ride. If it wasn't for the Bont, I think we'd be talking a lot more about this guy, Noah Anderson at the Gold Coast Suns. His past 2 weeks have been absolutely incredible. Scored 144 against Richmond and then went even better against Melbourne, probably the hardest midfield to play in the competition. And he racks up 37 disposals, 6 tackles and 189 KFC SuperCoach points, the highest score for the round. He's only in 1% of teams, so an absolutely fantastic pod if you happen to pick him. He went up 35 grand on the weekend. He's now 605,000. So when you compare him to someone like the Bont or Clayton Oliver, that's actually not a terrible price, but still a fair bit to pay, but an absolutely ripping pick if you manage to get Noah Anderson in your team. And another player who deserves a shout out for his performance in round 8 is Josh Dunkley, huge recruit for the Brisbane Lions and nearly all of our KFC SuperCoach teams. He's just been humming along so far this season. We've got pretty high standards for this guy because we know this is what he's capable of. 149 KFC SuperCoach points on Friday night, 33 disposals, 13 tackles, and he absolutely destroyed Patrick Cripps, which is no small feat. Who was cold in round 8? Well, the guy who's going to be generating a lot of talk in KFC SuperCoach circles this week is Will Ashcroft. Has been one of our best rookies for the year. Scored 103 points a week ago against the Dockers, and we thought we'll just keep this guy in our midfields all the way through to at least Brisbane's bye. Now it's a question we need to ask because only 37 KFC SuperCoach points on the weekend. Can only manage 13 disposals, and a lot of those came late in the game on Friday night, so it wasn't a great way to kick off the weekend. He still went up $3,000, and he's now gained 170 grand since round 1, which is fantastic, but he's probably not going to earn a lot more money, at least not for a few more weeks, because that's really going to stall his cash generation, having that 37 in his price cycle. I don't think he's going to drop a heap. He's got a break even of 71 next week, so not an urgent trade, but if you're looking for someone to make some cash to maybe get up to a premium this week, he's definitely one you could consider. There was a weird stat going around on the weekend that Carlton loses every time the week after they have a big 100-point win, they lose the next week. And it was a bit like that with Will Ashcroft and also James Sicily. Scored a season-high 128 a week ago, then follows up with just 63 KFC SuperCoach points against the Dockers. He barely had about 15 by half-time. He gave away a free kick and a 50-metre penalty early on, which is something that's always been a bit of an issue with him. I thought he was a bit over that kind of stuff now that he's the captain of the Hawks. Probably more worrying was he only had 9 kicks, which is his fewest in a game for the year, and he had 12 handballs, which is his highest in a game for the year. So we don't want that. We need, 19 kicks and 2 handballs or something like that. Please, sis. He only lost 5 grand, and his break-even's 113 against Melbourne this week. So he's not going to plummet in price at $537K. It's a pretty good price if you don't have him. But on last week's form, I probably wouldn't be getting him this week. I don't really love doing this, but when someone scores negative 12 KFC SuperCoach points, you have to put them in the cold section for the week. Poor old Noah Cumberland, he was dropped by Damien Hardwick, then he was laid in against the Eagles, and then he ended up getting subbed out because he had an absolute stinker in the first half, couldn't get his hands on it, he only had 2 handballs, and worse for his KFC SuperCoach numbers, he gave away 2 free kicks and a 50-metre penalty. Now, in my totally unbiased Richmond supporter opinion, it was a pretty rough 50-metre penalty. He just sort of got a toe on it over the boundary line, and the umpire thought he'd kicked it out of the ground. But definitely not a good day at the office for Noah Cumberland, and hopefully you don't have him in your KFC SuperCoach team.